We have a lot to get to. I want to start. I'm confused here. I don't know everything there is to know about team building in football. I've also said, though, a lot of the teams don't either. Look at what they do. Mac Jones is worth a sixth, and you know he's going to be a backup, but Justin Fields, what's happening there? I'm not a big Justin Fields guy, but Mac Jones gets you sixth, and he won't play unless Lawrence gets hurt. There's not any team that needs a quarterback to just fill in for a year to say, here you go, Chicago, we'll get you out of what you're dealing with. Maybe he'll get traded today. Maybe it's going to come down the pipeline in a couple days. It's odd to me that Mac Jones got moved before Justin Fields. I don't know if I would have had that in that order.
For one, it's McCorkle Jones, actually.
Yeah, Joe and I have decided, no, we're not calling him Mac. His middle name is McCorkle.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So his real first name is Mac?
No,
it's Michael.
Michael?
Oh, it's Michael.
Michael McCorkle Jones.
I get where the Mac is
Freaking
there.
McCorkle.
Yeah, but
okay.
It's still McCorkle.
Yeah.
I think that's why he got traded before Justin Fields, because the Patriots wanted to get McCorkle off their roster.
Yeah, that's rough.
I actually thought the Jags overpaid in that trade.
Really?
I would rather have a 6th-round quarterback than Mac Jones.
I
think he's broken.
I mean, I heard he couldn't
just a
get
6th-round player in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, I'd
a
rather
lot of positions. You could probably get a decent little football player out there.
But I was talking about this with Cooley. He's a giant diehard. You have them. You got New England. There's teams that need a quarterback, and maybe he's not the answer long term, but I don't know. Find the whole thing weird that Justin Fields can't get moved yet. He may get traded today. Knowing us, it's going to happen at 9:02 a.m., but it's weird, is it not, that so many people felt a certain way about him, and now here it is. He's available for almost anything. And the Bears are just holding on to it.
There might be, I feel like, a plan. I mean, I feel like this is Eberflus's last year, so if I'm him, you got to go with the best quarterback you can get, which is probably Caleb Williams. But in his mind, I feel like that and him and the GM are probably talking about value for Justin Fields. And can they, if they push this down the road a little bit to training camp, maybe to the start of the NFL season, can they wait for some teams?
The desperate team with the injury.
Have an injury or two, because you're saying you're surprised that Matt could even get traded for a 6th-round pick. What are we hearing? Maybe like a 3rd and a 5th at all for Justin Fields? That's it.
I don't think they're getting 2 picks.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe they will. It just doesn't feel that way.
So what do? Okay, you know what? Let's reset. We're not getting for him much anyways. Why not kick the can down the road a little bit, and maybe in 6 months there's a chance they will get a little
So
bit.
Kirker's going to Atlanta may have changed the dynamic of some of this stuff because Fields was linked to them as well.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this, Joe. And I don't think it's crazy. It doesn't happen very often in that league. Should Caleb pull a John Elway and Eli Manning? Like, if you're Caleb, do you want to go to Chicago or do you want to go to Minnesota?
Rashad brought this up 2 weeks ago he's like, hey, man, I don't see why you don't pull an Eli here and try and force your way into a different situation. And that's when we started looking at the teams and draft positions and what team would you even want to do that if you're Caleb? Like, do you want to go to Washington? He's
a hometown guy at Washington. He's from D.C.
Do you want to go to New England?
I don't want to go to New England. Is not a win-now team with anything there.
Well, and that's what I think
they're going to trade out.
There's a lot of pieces that they need. I was saying to Cooley, I was like, hey, it'd be interesting to, now with the Giants, like, I could see them trading up to go to 3 to get Marvin Harrison. Like, if they really like him that much, to steal him in front of the Cardinals. Because the Cardinals, I think, would be...
Is it worth a trade-up to get a receiver?
If they really, really love him. Like, that's what I'm saying. I was like... Because Cooley was on the side like, well, Neighbors and Nadunze, they might be down there at pick 8, I believe, that they have. Or, excuse me, I think it's 6. But
yeah,
again,
the Giants are
like,
6th.
Yeah, it's like, but if they for some reason just fall in love with Marvin Harrison Jr. on the pro day or the lead up to the draft, talking to him and the agent, like, do they try and make that move and the Patriots move down? But besides that, on the Fields thing, is like you look at the teams across the league now, it's like the options are pretty slim as far as like who would be even interested. Like, are the Broncos really going to give up a pick to go after Justin Fields?
No, they're trying to get picks back.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, are they really going to give up draft capital?
The Raiders signed Minshew, so that eliminated another team. They're not going to take Fields after giving Minshew, $15 million guaranteed.
I mean,
it's kind of the Patriots.
I mean, the Titans, are they going to bring him in to compete with Levis? Like,
maybe the Jets. Do you bring Fields in if you're the Jets?
They already got Tyrod Taylor. So.
Oh, you're right. They just signed him. You're right.
Off.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of spots for him there.
Carolina. Carolina's a calling.
No, Carolina got. Why would they need Fields? They've got Bryce Young.
No, but if he does,
But he's 5'5".
well, I'm
he's
talking.
5'4".
I'm talking now about possible teams that maybe want to put Fields in as a backup, and like, oh, you know what? He fits the system we're trying to run with Bryce Young. Yeah, let's bring him in case Bryce gets injured.
I saw one mock that had the Bears getting Caleb and Odunze, and plus DJ Moore is there, and so and there's intel that maybe Chicago's building a dome stadium, which, by the way, another cold weather city team saying,
Screw this.
we'd rather have controlled climate for our quarterback. Maybe my take wasn't the stupidest take of all time. It's not great. Doesn't sit well with a lot of you. Buffalo should have a dome. But if you're Caleb, Justin Jefferson, Kevin O'Connell, or Matt Eberflus and what the Bears are.
What are the Vikings picking?
I forget where the Vikings are. I don't know if the Vikings are even a real shot here. Chicago,
But again,
Chicago may not care about this, but I'm more interested. If you're Caleb, you're already kind of a lightning rod of topic anyway. There's either people that think you're going to be amazing and like you, or there's people that hate you because you paint your nails or you cry in your mom's arms or your team was kind of disappointing. You're not going to change that. So who cares? Are you better served to pull an Eli and say, I'm not playing for you, figure this out? Or do you just say, DJ Moore's there, maybe they get Roma Dunze. Yeah, maybe the coach isn't for long, but I like having those weapons. I want to go to Chicago. Chicago's a kick-ass city, and they've never had one of these.
Vikings are 11. I mean, I don't know if the Saints might be interested in taking Fields. It's like
I don't, but see, here's my,
with Derek Carr, it's like,
I don't know if that makes sense either.
Well, with that, again, I think it just depends on how the season plays out with Carr. I mean, the Saints fans
it didn't end well with him.
They were ready to be done with him halfway through that year.
They were. If you're Caleb, would you demand a trade or just take it easy peasy, be drafted number 1, call it what it is? Where do you guys think you'd lean right now?
Again, I just don't know if there's better options outside of Chicago, which I know sounds like a terrible option. But again, it's like, where else would you demand to go to?
But if your coach
Washington.
is sitting on a hot seat, I'm not excited about having, 2 to 3 new coaches in 2
I'd
years.
rather
Welcome to being a
Washington.
number 1 overall pick in the NFL, bud. It's not always the best situation.
But that's
and
kind of the point.
And that's why you're being picked as high, is to change the situation.
And he's welcomed that publicly. He said, I'll go anywhere anybody wants to pick me. Chicago seems like an awesome place to be great in.
No, probably Washington. I think DC's a little bit. It's cold, but not as cold. It's not one of those traditional cold weather cities in the winter like Chicago is. So,
Hometown guy coming back home. Not that this is going to happen. Again, it sounds like he's just willing to be a Bear.
No, and that, yeah, his dad really did address this 2 months ago, saying, not so fast. I think we would be willing to do this, but I'm against any kind of manipulation by these players. I hated that Eli did it. I hate reading about the
Why?
John Elway story.
Do you not like picking where you work?
It's not about picking where I work. I am entering a system as one of those players that you are working in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
The NFL, like, your place of business is the NFL, and you could be traded to one of those 32 others or 31 other cities at any time. So for you to come in and say, no, I'm not going to do the process that everybody else does. I'm the one person that can pick where I want to go, as opposed to the 200 others in the draft. No, I get it. Yeah, better people, really talented people get to go where they want to in this life. But
That's called leverage.
But to manipulate the NFL draft like that, I can't stand it. I don't like when players who are already about to get a bag, who are already getting amazing things in life and are already about to be at the top of everything in their sport, then to just manipulate that on top of that. No, it's like, you've gotten so many things. Why do
teams
you
manipulate
deserve...
players all the time? How did it work out for Mac Jones to just fall into the system and go to New England?
I mean, Mac Jones
May have broken him.
It did really well his first year. He won a Pro Bowl, didn't he? He was on top of the world
You're
after
not
his
counting
rookie
Pro Bowls
season.
as a legitimate thing
I'm
to
talking.
merit.
I'm not saying that.
And they got waxed in their playoff game. And by the way, we're a 7 seed in an expanded wild card that didn't exist.
I'm not saying that he loved playing in the Pro Bowl, but wouldn't that award give you confidence after your rookie
I just find it odd. You want leverage in your life, but players can't have leverage.
I'm not saying
the
they can't have
NFL
any.
is a little bit different of a business. It's not.
Yeah, but it's happened
not
before,
life.
is what I'm saying.
There is precedent, but also, again, I guess it just comes to, you are talking about a Manning too. Like that family has some cachet. They don't have to be in video games.
Yeah, the Chargers didn't need to do the trade, and they didn't want a guy that didn't want to be there, so they moved on in New York. He wanted New York.
Until he makes that known that he doesn't want to be there. But
I know.
As you said, he sounds like
He
he's
might be
down for
embracing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild though. We'll see where Fields goes if he moves at all. It's just a lot of I'm looking at Orlovsky on ESPN. What's the best fit for Fields? There isn't one right now. And that's the weird part about this is they were hoping to trade him, move off of him at this point.